Richard Boone was never just another television cowboy. Born Richard Allen Boone on June 18, 1917, in Los Angeles, he carried a name tied to American legend as the great-grandson of frontiersman Daniel Boone, a lineage that seemed to foreshadow the authority and grit he would one day bring to the screen. But Boone's journey to stardom was anything but predictable. He studied drama at Stanford University, immersing himself in literature and philosophy, long before Hollywood ever took notice. Then came World War II. Serving as a Navy navigator in the Pacific, Boone flew combat missions that left him with a realism no acting class could teach. When he later trained at the Actors Studio under Lee Strasberg, he fused discipline with lived experience, creating performances that felt weathered, intelligent, and unmistakably authentic. That authenticity reached its peak in 1957 when Boone became Paladin in Have Gun, Will Travel. Unlike traditional gunslingers, Paladin was refined, philosophical, and deadly only when necessary, a cultured mercenary quoting Shakespeare from his suite at San Francisco's Carlton Hotel. Boone demanded intelligent scripts and moral complexity, elevating the Western genre into something thoughtful and adult. Audiences didn't just watch Paladin, they listened to him. Boone's deep, commanding voice became his signature, later lending menace and majesty to Smaug in the animated adaptation of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Even in fantasy, his presence was undeniable. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, Boone moved seamlessly between hero and villain, starring alongside John Wayne in Big Jake and later reuniting with him for The Shootist, Wayne's final film, a meditation on mortality that felt hauntingly personal for Boone as well. He appeared in The Kremlin Letter, The Tall T, The Big Sleep, and even embraced the cult energy of The Last Dinosaur. On television, he reinvented himself again in Heck Ramsey, playing a former gunfighter turned forensic detective, proof that Boone was always drawn to characters who evolved. Yet while audiences saw strength, his private life told a quieter, more painful story. Married 3 times, he ultimately found lasting stability with Claire Malone, with whom he shared decades of marriage and a son, Peter Boone, who briefly appeared in his father's iconic series. But behind the commanding voice and towering frame, Boone was fighting battles few could see. Years of heavy smoking and drinking took a toll. His son would later confirm the rumors. Boone struggled deeply with alcoholism, openly admitting he felt powerless to stop. He understood the damage, yet felt trapped in it. In his final years, throat cancer, believed to be linked to his lifelong smoking, began to steal the very instrument that defined him, his voice. For a man whose authority rested in measured words and resonant delivery, the loss was devastating. On January 10, 1981, Boone passed away at his home in St. Augustine, Florida, at just 63 years old. Physically weakened, but mentally sharp to the end, he faced mortality much like the characters he portrayed, with awareness, gravity, and a quiet dignity. Richard Boone's legacy is more than westerns and powerful monologues. It is the story of a man who embodied strength on screen while enduring profound struggle in private. A philosopher with a gun. A star with secrets. And above all, a performer whose depth ensured he would never be just another television legend, but one of the most commanding figures American entertainment has ever known.